In this week's Torah portion of Korach, an amazing event transpires that sometimes we might not necessarily recognize in the Torah's narrative and certainly not necessarily embrace the message that it's offering us. You see, after Korach and his 250 cronies suffer, they're punished, and they arrive at their tragic demise, the Jewish people still accuse Moshe and Aaron of having caused this tragedy amongst the Jewish people, amongst the population. And as a result, there is an an epidemic, a plague that spreads around the Jewish people en masse like wildfire. People are dying. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God instructs Aaron to take the Ktoret, the incense, and to spread it around the machaneh, the camp of Jewish people, and that incense saves those people who are suffering and ultimately spares them. Rashi points out a fascinating thing. He says that, you see, the reason why God specifically chose the incense, the Ktoret, to save those people who are suffering is because many of the Jewish people said, oh, the Ktoret, the incense, it's a very, very horrible experience. It is a damaging service, because they saw that it was the incense that caused the death of Nadav and Avihu, the two sons of Aaron who died prior as they burnt the incense in front of God. And therefore, people's perspective was that the incense is actually damaging as opposed to being productive and subservient and servicing to God. And therefore, God takes that incense and demonstrates to them that there is a positive, and certainly a positive aspect to the Ktoret. The incense is a positive experience. It spreads life. It enhances our ability to live, embrace, and appreciate our service of Hashem. The important lesson that we learn from here is that sometimes we see something that seems to be tragic and seems to be catastrophic. Who knows better than myself? The loss of a child, tragedy, catastrophe, and obviously it is something that will haunt me every single day. But sometimes we are required at some point to see beyond that tragedy and to take a closer look, to inspect and to look with a fine-tooth comb and to understand that the various circumstances around us, perhaps they are transmitting a message to us as well. God tells the Jewish people at first glance it appears that the Ktoret, the incense, is destructive, but in actuality it's extremely constructive, and therefore he uses it as or demonstrating a positive sense. The same thing is with regards to our lives. Sometimes we look around us and we see only difficulties, hardships, obstructions, and at some times or at times, chas v'chalila, no one should ever know, they could seem even catastrophic. But thank God, today, even though I will always have that pain and that tragedy with me consistently, there's no question about that, the loss of Gila, but we were able to take that pain, that tragedy of Gila, to take that incense that seemed to be destructive and catastrophic and to turn it into something positive, to prolong and to save lives through Gila's way. The same incense that appeared to seem at the beginning destructive and deathly has become constructive and saintly. It has, in a sense, embraced the soul, the neshama of Gila, and certainly has impacted and be able to save lives around us. We need, not on such a level, God forbid, but we need to look at our lives and to say, maybe something appears to be obstructive, destructive, but very often it can turn or can become constructive when we see it in the right way. That incense is an incense that we need to embrace and to smell its fragrance every single day. This is the Torah way, it is the Jewish way, and it is the Gila way. Shabbat Shalom.